Hello and welcome to the program. I am DEJI360. Nigeria's security situation has continued to be a major source of concern, not just for the people, but the government at various levels. Early this week, terrorists attacked a mining site at a place known as Ajata Boki in Gumana ward of Shiroro local government area, Niger State, north central Nigeria, killing several security personnel, including soldiers, mobile policemen, and some civilians. The terrorists also kidnapped several others, including 4 Chinese nationals. Now, the irony of the situation is that even the security agents that are saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and properties are increasingly being attacked and killed as well. The situation has led to a growing call for self-help, in other words, for people to arm themselves. The Zamfara state government, as a matter of fact, echoed that call when it recently asked citizens of the state to buy guns and arm themselves against bandits and terrorists who have made life difficult for the people for a long time now. The state governor, Matawalle, called on residents to apply for gun licenses through the state's commissioner of police after satisfying the necessary requirements. The government argues that Zamfara is the state with the largest number of armed bandits and terrorists in the country today, killing people, kidnapping them for ransom, and increasingly imposing taxes on ordinary citizens. Now, that may not be far from the truth, but will the call to arms solve the problem or make matters worse? Let's hear from a security expert now. Kabir Adamu is the head of Beacon Consulting, a security consulting firm based in Abuja. He joins us right now. Thank you very much, Dr. Adamu, for joining us on the program. What do you make of that call by the Zamfara state government?
Quite surprising for a lot of reasons, Deji. In the first place, the manner the call was made, it was issued in a statement, and the statement says the governor will direct the commissioner of police to issue licenses. Now, there were several other components to that statement saying that of the, I think, 18 or 19 emirates in the state, it would urge the emirates to come together and that it will issue forms for the emirates to fill, and then it would assist them in processing those forms. So clearly recognizing that there is a legal process for the acquisition of those weapons in Nigeria. However, that statement did not recognize the fact that a governor cannot instruct a commissioner of police to issue gun licenses on the basis of the existing Firearms Act in Nigeria. That Firearms Act gives that authority to the president. And in that Firearms Act, it is recognized that the president can delegate that responsibility to the Inspector General of Police, but clearly stated that the power resides with the president. And at no point, nowhere in that law, did it say that a semblance or any part of that power can be delegated to a state governor. Although, interestingly, within that same law, a state governor is allowed to rescind licenses that have been issued. But there is nowhere in that law where it says the governor can. So there was some semblance of perhaps lack of knowledge, or maybe even politics playing a hand, knowing that he doesn't have that power, yet that statement was issued. So that is why 2 analysts are looking at it from 2 angles. The first angle is his frustration with the federal arrangement, which gives responsibility for security to the federal systems. The other angle is the political angle. Some are saying, well, it's election period, he doesn't have the power to issue such a statement. Now, whatever angle you look at it, the reality is that that statement, coming at the time it came, does not appear to be what the states need at this point in time.
Could we say that statement was born out of frustration, that the governor is frustrated with the security situation in the state? This is a government that has thrown several initiatives at the problem, but it appears all those initiatives have not yielded the desired result. At some point, there was an agreement with the bandits now to give them money. I know at some point there were even allegations that the governor was giving bandits money and cars so that they could change their ways and all of that. So several initiatives have been thrown at this problem, but the problem just wouldn't go away.
Yes, on the face of it, it appears to be an act of frustration. But, as an elected leader, respectable person, you don't, engage in an act that is not constitutional in an attempt to solve a problem. There are other constitutional measures that perhaps would have been more, relevant. As an example, he's a member of the ruling party. Engaging through the party machinery to get the president to understand the severity of their situation and perhaps accede to them to procure weapons would have been a better way to go. Again, all the senators from the state are members of the ruling party. Now, using the parliament, the federal parliament, remember that there is an ongoing, constitutional review. Using that, the parliament from Zamfara state to get them to submit either bills or whatever, asking for a change in the current constitutional provision that allows that, perhaps for me would be a better way to go than to attempt this unconstitutional means. It's very, very clear that the epicenter of banditry and the type of dastardly gunmen activities that we're seeing in northwest Nigeria is Zamfara state. So anything the governor does in an attempt to address the issue is welcome, but it must be constitutional.
And talking about everything he does, now what options do you think are open to him or other than this call to arms?
Now, number one, the need to address grievances. He is the one who introduced, or rather popularized, the use of the term kinetic and non-kinetic components of security management, especially at that national level. Now, I believe one of the key ways to address this issue is to enhance addressing especially political grievances. Essentially, this issue is a conflict between two ethnic groups that is based on their socioeconomic pursuits. The Hada community that are predominantly Fulani.
Do you think that's what this is, or is it just we're dealing with criminals here who are profiting from serious crime?
Essentially, it started as that conflict. Now, several other ramifications of that conflict have emerged, including the criminality you referred to. But dealing with that parent issue, which is this socioeconomic grievance between two communities, and the consequence of climate change, believe me, will allow government to handle the other components, the criminal component, the terrorism component, and the several other components that exist. But at the crux at the center of this matter is essentially...
I'm just wondering whether, a group of people now, I'm talking about these the bandits and the terrorists, who are so used to making so much money from, kidnapping, for instance, and attacking people and all of that. They're so used to it, and they make a lot of money from it. I'm just wondering what exactly the governor would say to them that could make them change.
So it's not about what the governor says to them. It's about using the authority of the state to enforce legality. And at the center of this is our criminal justice system. How will the governor work with the justice system to ensure that any offense, irrespective of who commits it, is not just stopped, but is also prosecuted? Now, if he does that, then it would be very, very easy for them to see that, look, as a state, this state will no longer condone criminality. Now, the lacuna in our constitution is that the governor does not have control, essentially over the security agencies. So perhaps in answering your question, the best way state governments can approach this is how do they enhance their ability to influence and control the security apparatus of the state. Now, Lagos State has given us a model. Lagos State set up a security trust fund that is managed like any business can go about that. It's how does he increase his coordination with the federal government by setting up perhaps a security trust fund to manage the funds, the resources that the state gets, especially the security vote that it gets, and then all other donations from different parties, so that this security agencies are more amenable to the cost.
But what do you do in a situation where you don't have enough security agents? Because Zamfara is not the only state where these security agents are operating. So there's just not enough to deal with the problem in that state. It's a basic truth. I wouldn't know now how effective their local vigilantes are, but I'm just wondering how you expect that to happen in a situation where you don't have enough security personnel on ground.
So DEJI, recognizing your challenge is the first step to solving that challenge. I am not an advocate of complaining. If we know that the challenge is one of inadequate resources, then perhaps we should, instead of cosmetic approaches like the ones that have been attempted in the past, mediating, blocking phone lines, closing markets, all those, as far as I'm concerned, are cosmetic efforts. The challenge is one of inadequate resourcing and then inability of that resource to tackle the threat. So how would he, as the governor, enhance the capacity of this, the little resource that he has? Now, one of the easiest ways to do it, like I've suggested, is to set up a security trust fund in the manner that Lagos has done, so that there is a transparent system of not only equipping, but also training the security operatives that Zamfara State has. And then individuals, Zamfara State has produced several very prominent individuals, including the previous National Security Advisor, who was several times presidential aspirant. He can galvanize people to fund that, put in money into that fund, so that fund can be used judiciously in increasing the capacity of these security agencies. But unfortunately, that's not the kind of things we're hearing. Now, there are also state-level arrangements. He mentioned in that statement that he's going to recruit additional either 250 or 300 state-level operatives for each of the 18 or 19 emirates. Now, how do you enhance the capacity of this person? It's through equipping them, through training them. And I believe a fund that is managed judiciously and professionally can help in that regard. Anything short of that, honestly, is just beating around the bush.
Dr. Kabir Ademo, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for joining us in the program. We'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.